Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, including the stuff from Lost Origin, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code OmniPoke. For today's video, we're going to be looking at Todd's winning decklist from Peoria, the Lost Box, focusing on Radiant Charizard here as your late game beat stick, and really trying to race to that 10 cards in the Lost Zone as quickly as possible so that we can Lost Mine throughout the game with our Sableye really having great control over our opponent's board, setting up counters, taking easy one prize KOs, denying engines from all sorts of decks at the same time. This is just such a versatile and strong card that it is the focal point of this deck list. We're having Cramorant for early game pressure as well, which is obviously very helpful. And the Zard is that late game beat stick. We are playing Paths in here, but if the Excited Heart is online and the opponent's taken 4 prize cards, we can Combustion Blast for 1 attachment, which is amazing. Even just banking Radiant Zard and getting an attachment on it at any point in the game can make it a big alarm bell for the opponent and force them into Boss's Orders plays, which means you get to keep your hand, which is amazing, because this deck is a little bit weak to hand disruption. No big barrel or anything like that to sort of back us up. We just have Comfey as our engine, as well as, you know, fueling that Lost Zone. We have Guru to help out against Marnies at the very least, which can be great. But just the fact that we have this Zard, it's a great Pokemon to just put into play proactively, because we have Klara, which is actually our best way of sort of searching the Zard, if you want to put it that way. And thanks to us playing Cross Switchers, you're allowed to Klara and still Gust in the same turn with your Zard. So really, really powerful card. Obviously, we saw this do well at the World Championships alongside Inteleon and at the recent US tournament as well, pre-Lost Origin. But now we're seeing it in a different form here, which is amazing. Outside of that, Todd's made some really good choices that make this deck very versatile and strong into the field. First of all, double Manaphy, very good against Palkia. Even if they play Cologne, you can block that with double Manaphy. Also, just having 2 means that in sort of Lost Zone mirrors that are playing Greninja, you're not locked into a Klara as soon as one is knocked out. You can just find your next Manaphy, which is really nice. Or in situations where you've not yet done a deck search via VIP Pass or Fog Crystal, you have that little bit of leeway to get rid of a Manaphy with a Colress or Flower Select and still be in the game, which is nice. So you have very few cards in this list that you're not allowed to Lost Zone, essentially. You've always got extra copies of essentially every single card. I think the only things that are like guaranteed selects, pretty much your Radiant Zard, and if one of your Fire Energies have gone, you have to take the other one. Then there are some matchup-specific ones, like your Stadiums, your Vacuums, and stuff like that. But typically, you have license to basically get rid of everything because you have 2nd and 3rd copies of most cards, which is amazing to see. The Manaphy is not just for like mirror match situations. It can be good against so Palkintel, Mirror. It can be good against Dialga, even having the 2nd copy in play all in one go to then deny them using Mirage Gate onto their own Greninja. Basically just giving you a lot of protection here, which is amazing to see. Like I said, Cross Switch is a big combination with Klara, which is great. The path to the peak is obviously, first of all, going to be really good at not losing on the spot to an Empoleon V. I think we've realised now that if Todd's deck does become the most popular, and I would imagine it probably is because it's just done amazingly well in an over 1,000 player event, that Empoleon's going to be less of a factor. But even when you're not worrying about Empoleon, it's still really good into Arceus decks, really good into Mew, really good into Kyurem. Very good at also shutting down Espeon as well. Espeon VMAX has been a sort of new tech card emerging from this weekend, trying to deny the sprinkles of a Sableye, basically. So there's still a ton of reasons to love this Path of the Peak. It's just so strong into the majority of the format that are very reliant on abilities. Also can just randomly shut down Palkia as well, force them into Melanie plays or whatnot. So very, very strong to just maximize copies of this. It does have a bit of a conflict with your own Radiant Zard. That's kind of why we see such a high count of the Lost Vacuums, so you can make sure that you have these for the later game stages and bounce your own paths. But Lost Vacuum isn't just here to enable your Zard, it's also a great way for you to get to 10 in the zone as quickly as possible, because you can bounce your own path in the early stages with a Vacuum, and that helps you get 2 cards in the Lost Zone very quickly. Your own Stadium and the card that you sacrifice into the Lost Zone to use the effect of the Vacuum in the first place. And getting to 10 as quickly as possible is definitely what this deck is all about, because Sableye is by far a stronger better option than the Cramorant, not just for raw counters, but that flexibility is just so essential for this sort of deck. That's why you're also seeing such a silly amount of Switch cards, to be honest. 4 carts, 4 nets, 4 ropes, 2 balloons, and the switches as well. It means that we are constantly selecting with our Comfeys, constantly fueling that lost zone as quickly as possible, because Sableye on turn 2 is disgusting, basically, is kind of the idea. The sooner it comes on board, the better, because you can deny things from evolving, like any Sobbles or Bidoofs or whatnot. If people are trying to evolve into these engine Pokemon, you can just deny it straight away. And you just get to put the counters exactly where you want, which is just amazing to see. Outside of that, we have some hand disruption from Marnie, as well as Colress, giving us a few decent supporters in the opening stages, and Klara is also an all-star here. Definitely try not to lost zone this if you can. It's a really helpful card to, again, keep chaining those Sableyes. Just getting Sableye energy is value. Sometimes you get the free Cram or the Zard back with energy as well, so just such a strong option to have here. But yeah, very straightforward deck. Get as many Comfey out early, dance between them, find your Colress's experiment, get to 10, and mine your way through the game, and basically select your targets to use with Radiant Zard as you get towards those later stages. It's very reasonable for you to be able to Combustion Blast twice, essentially, because, you know, the 4 prizes they take, you limit your opponent to 1 per turn, and then you can make a Zard, they knock out Zard, or anything else, and then you make another Zard and attack again. So all you really need to do is sprinkle onto multiple prize Pokemon whilst taking cheap knockouts, or like piling into one of their 2 prizes or whatever, and setting up the Zard for the remainder of the game. That is the game plan. So let's get into some games. Recent studies have shown that my brain is almost 3 times smaller than Tord's, so this is going to be some really high-level gameplay, I think, today. Let's get into that first one. And we are getting to go first here. I do think going first is generally just okay for this deck. Even with Mirror sort of creeping up here, I think it's still reasonable to go first, because you do get extra selects in, and look how many Switch cards we already have. So you can get to that 10 that little bit faster than the opponent more often than not. So we are going to grab a Comfey straight away. We will start looking at some prizes. We have all of our Sableyes. We have Manaphy. We have prized a Cram. We have our Lizard, which is obviously very good. Actually a really good card to get in the opening stages, because it can block Escape Rope plays from the opponent, because Cram doesn't hit for weakness. So that's kind of good. We have all of our switches. We've prized a net. We have both Klaras. That's very solid. So it's just basically switch outs that we've prized, mostly, and some one-offs. Alright, let's start with a cart. And select. Energy can be used to retreat, but I already have Balloon, so I guess I'm just going Switch card early. We're going to be spending a lot of Switch cards and bouncing this one Comfey until we find more. Spend a rope. Now I still have both options. Let's keep the fire. That's 2 Psychic already in the zone. That's something to bear in mind. Of course, really important to try and get access to VIP Pass. It really unlocks a lot with the deck. Second Comfey is great here. I think we just attach Retreat Comfey here. Keep the balloon around. So do I Wisdom? Yeah, I think cross switches aren't huge in this matchup, to be honest, unless it's like a Goodra or something. So we'll do this just in case we can hit a VIP. It's an extra card that we see. Path probably isn't slowing them down too much, to be honest. Gone for a lot of switch cards. Already 4 in the zone. That's the good news. And we'll just pass. The Guru interplay could be trying to block some Cram attacks from them this turn as well. I'm basically not allowed to get rid of any more Psychic Energy. I think 2 in the mix is pretty important. As it looks like we most likely will be in a mirror match situation as they show us Path and Cram. Alright, looks like they only have 1 Comfey to dance with as well. That's not how that works. Yeah. Okay. Right, let's get another game in. Alright, just the absurd amount of switch cards. You essentially just need one Comfey to get things going, but the opponent there lacking their own supporters and spending switch cards for no effect there. We get to go first again, so let's go through the Comfey dance one more time, hopefully. The double Comfey, things you love to see. We already have Switch Cart and Psychic Energy, so if I find third Comfey, that would be amazing as well. Alright, we see an Arceus, so these paths are going to be big. Alright, hate seeing Colress have to go, but it does have to go. Net's also a good pickup, it means I can get maximum value of these Comfeys. Fog for Fog is fine. I think it will just be another Comfey coming out. I like thinning the Comfey, because A, it gives me a deck search, which is obviously big, but B, I would rather hit VIP passes, right? VIP pass is just such a more important card. So we've prized our Guru. We have our Psychics, prized a VIP. Prized a Vacuum. Have all four paths, which is great. Prized a Marnie. Prized a Fire, so really have to take that Fire. Definitely take the Fire. Okay. So we've selected, let's cart. I think, yeah. Got to take the Fire. It's a shame that we have to get rid of a path here, but we do just have to. I'm going to bank the Fire in the discard pile. Great place for it with Klara. Let's do this. We take the other Colress here, I think, every time. And I'm not going to jam path too early. I want to jam it next turn, I think. So we'll just pass. Again, we're at 4 already, which is not the worst. We are up against Arcgudra. Now, I imagine Arcgudra is probably going to be going up in popularity for Salt Lake. And there's one simple one-card inclusion that can allow us to beat Arcgudra. And that would be a Miltank. Just one Miltank in this deck list, and then you sit there passing the entire game. You simply have to find the Miltank in enough time for them to have played more cards than you. For them to get a stage 1 online with 3 energies to actually start pressurizing anything, and stopping us from just attaching to our Miltank and attacking, they probably, on average, spend more cards than you have to. That's the hope. This matchup is rough, though. But if you want to tech Miltank, you immediately stalemate, if not just win. I think we get rid of Sable here. We're at 2, 4, 5. I probably just have to cram hit here. I like benching, I like smacking. Unfortunately, Marnie'd away our paths, which is a bit of a shame. Oh man, they don't even have to use Starbirth. Oh, they're going to be able to Moisture Star this game. That's really bad for me. Oh, they still Starbirth. That's so weird. They already had Arceus attack. That's truly bizarre. They should always hold Moisture Star there, right? I don't care what their hand is. They have so much time to just... I am baffled by that play. What? Why? Plus, they're taking forever, so they don't even know what they want. they take like supporter plus V-Star, but that's just like not worth it. What a yeah, we're not gonna complain. We're gonna carry on. Fully aware that we win on the spot if we just play a Miltank tech in the deck. This isn't the game where I threw away all my psychics, was it? Nope. I think I like Klara Cross Switcher Cram hits here. Try and buy a turn off them. We have played a Klara, but I think I still want to get the lizard down, don't I? They easily are. They definitely are a Marnie deck. It's definitely also reasonable for them to have taken a Marnie to hand. I think I played the Zard down. We're trying to get some free damage in here, basically. Like, even if they held Starburst for this turn, you know? It's like so much better for them. An argument for me to Fog Crystal here as well. Last turn. Just get Sableye to improve top decks. Probably should have done that, honestly. Already had Psychic. Regardless, we see Hyper Pot, we see Cave. Do we see Attachment to Goodra? See a Parasol to the bench for some reason. Parasol only is live when it's in the active position. Now let's do our Fog. We obviously do play Vacuums as well, so... Alright, definitely taking Klara. Probably taking Marnie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Colress gets us to 10. How much do I like Rope? Roping around this is going to be really important. So I think we just do it like this. And then just simply attach to Zard and hit with Cram. They had no energy in hand and no draw supporter. So I don't want to Marnie yet, but there will be a time for us to Marnie them for sure. I think it's just this. It's actually not the worst thing that they did this heal, because now I can try and do more shenanigans with Sableye, potentially. They do have the option to slip and trip us here. Right. So, we play Rope, they almost always go here. Getting the 110 on early wouldn't be that bad. Obviously they go here, would block Sableye. If I just take 2 prizes, it's also reasonable. Pretty sure I'm benching Sableye though. Pretty sure I like attaching to Sableye as well. Maximizing damage. I really want to get some damage on this Arceus, but there's no easy way to do it. The Parasol is actually low-key quite annoying here. I might be forced into a Marnie here. I think I am forced into Marnie. If they go here, certainly I'm forced into Marnie. Alright, I think this does force Marnie now. I want to bounce Stadium. I obviously want to get rid of Tool. Well, we at least bounce Stadium. That's something. I'm obviously not allowed to Lost Mine. I could have gone for another Rope into Flower Select Net, even, maybe that turn. Maybe that was even stronger. But getting prep damage on is also pretty good, right? Because they attached 4th energy, it almost always indicates that they had another Hyper Pot in hand, because it could have gone active for a slip and trip play. Alright, so they're at 4. So we're 3 energy away, or 2 energy attachments away. Let's select. Ooh. Tricky one. Definitely a tricky one. I think I have to take. Okay, that's huge. Let's Rope. Very surprised by the choice. $160 and $110. Okay. I think I have to take this off the board because they have healing. And I think we start loading up damage on the Arc. I need obviously 30 on the Arceus at least for Zard to be effective. There's an argument for me to have played the Vacuum here as well. Ultra Ball. Alright, that affects nothing. Just a Rolling Iron, okay. So they're at 3. They're at 160 minus 80. 1624. 240. So if I get rid of this and sorry, if I get rid of this and just Zard hit them. Nice. So we don't even need to tech Miltank if they're playing weirdly. They definitely had the option to save Moisture Start and it would have been backbreaking for us, so they probably should have done that. Let's get another game in. You can see how early Zard changes so much, right? Putting it on... Nothing's scarier than putting it on the board and attaching to it, right? We are not quite popping off. I'm lacking switch outs right now. I have Fog Crystal to retreat, but double VIP is insane, right? Mew, huh? Alright, Mr. Mew. Let's get some Comfeys. Alright, so we have prize Zard. Have to be very aware of that. We do have all three of our Mews, though, which is important. We've prized a Path as well. I can jam Path early turn 1, which is going to possibly be very good. We've also prized a Klara, so have to take Klara 100%. Okay, we have the Cross Switchers. Cross Switchers are also pretty important in the matchup to actually hit with Cram when we have to. Alright, so let's do this. Let's do this. Let's grab our energy. Let's retreat out of Sableye. And let's play another Fog, I think. And let's select. Right, Manaphy, not great. Scoop Up Net, very good. Let's toss another one into the mix. That's also an easy choice. That sucks. I guess it's this. If one path doesn't succeed, try and try again. You know the drill. Alright, seems good to hold there. The one piece of information that's cool about us getting rid of a Colress and then playing a Path makes them... They basically know what we just flower selected for. So they probably don't think we have another Path in hand, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, valuing a Path over a Colress isn't something you see every day. This whole quad path thing, I think Tord's onto something. Right. I'm going to trigger people by chorusing first. Answers on a postcard. You all know the right answer. Alright. Now let's select. Oh, Marnie Path is better. The option to Marnie at any point is just definitely better, right? We go to 7. We go to 8 with Switch Cart. Show me the net. Take the rope. It's just the Cram hits for 90. Definitely an argument to just take the Oranguru out. Give them potentially less bailout options when they start drawing Genesects here. But sometimes the path is just bussing. Alright, so they can VMAX. They can only copy glistening droplets right now. Oh, but they have the option to grab another Mew now. I think another Mew is actually the best thing they can take, right? They go Technoblast. Okay, so they're going to just take a prize and draw cards this way. This is also reasonable, I guess. So I think by far our best play is to try and Cross Switcher this and start sprinkling this Mew down again. It's by far our stronger... Okay, that's a great start. Let's make sure I'm not being a fool. So also trapping the Mew active makes it hard for them to actually heal the Mew, right? If I just don't do any of this gusting stuff anyway and just Sableye, it makes them pretty tricky for them to yeet back into the deck. They need to, like, find a Mew V, find a Switch, and a tablet. Doing the rope sort of makes it easier for them, right? They need to... I guess they would still need the same combination of cards. It would just change things. So maybe I should be looking for Cross Switcher here. But it doesn't really change their outs, right? Like, the retreat cost doesn't matter here. So let's... just take this... Oh, that sucks, but it works. Like I said, it doesn't, the retreat cost doesn't matter. It doesn't change their outs right now. So let's just do this. So let's put this. So if I go to a 190 on this guy. And get to work here. They're still working on 2 top decks, but they do find a Lost City. They do find the retreat. Hopefully they don't find a Mew V here. That would be really sad. Yeah, they just concede. So they just had the KO on a Sableye there. Wasn't enough for them. And there's our 3 dubs. What time is it? Yeah, we're at a good time. You never know when a game can go long with this list, but yeah, let me know what you think about Todd's deck. I think he's built it extremely well. No surprise there. It's simplistic, it's powerful, it's got disruption, it's got high damage output in the later game, it's got tempo on its side, it's got a lot. Todd's just so good at this game, and Lost Fox is also a really good deck. Let me know how you're adapting to Lost Fox in this format. That's going to be a lot of my conversation for the remainder of the week. It's going to be wacky decks that do things that are good into this matchup. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for one of those wacky decks. Cheers.